moving on out. I was
Sorry.
gonna move it on. No, you're fine. I was gonna move it on out to Los Angeles. I was inspired to like kind of like get the big city vibe. So yeah, I kind of, that was like a short story of like I went from Ohio to then LA, but I always knew that beatboxing was something that I wanted to do, and I pursue that full time really in my career now. And Baldwin Wallace, yeah, was a big part in that and my career today. I actually did pursue music therapy for a little bit out here before I did social media full time, and I loved it. But during COVID, when the schools shut down, I was out of job. So then I was like, well, I'm gonna have to pursue social media full time and see what I can make of it. And luckily, I've been able to sustain a career from it.
Oh, that is so awesome. That is awesome. I love that you're from Toledo. I'm originally from Detroit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we
Gotcha.
pass there all the time, you know.
Yeah, I fly into Detroit Airport all the time.
Exactly. Toledo is like a suburb
Yeah.
to Detroit. So I got family, friends there as well. So yeah, that's definitely it's a lot closer. So that's pretty awesome. So I mean, I'm sure there's schools in Toledo. Why Baldwin though? Was it the program back then, or was it something else?
Yeah, it was a couple of different things. I was between there was Michigan State. I could have gone to Toledo University. Let's see, Bowling Green was another one. But with Baldwin Wallace, I liked that it was a small school because I think I appreciated like having one-on-one experience with my my teachers in high school. So I think that I was looking for that. I knew that because I have ADHD, so I was thinking that I was going to struggle with bigger class sizes. So I picked Baldwin Wallace for that reason, but also because of their music therapy program. I thought it was really unique, and it was very like career driven and kind of gave you like a direct path to like, this is where you will go after you graduate. So it felt a little bit more secure as well. But yeah, Baldwin Wallace, none of my family members have gone there. So I just thought it was kind of fun to, start a new tradition and try something new.
Totally
I
makes
ended up
sense.
loving it.
Totally makes sense. Yeah, Baldwin is definitely a small school, but I personally like that as well. And you have that ability to, build relationships not only with the students, but also your professors as well, and just build that small community is where you can actually, hone in on the skills and just build lifelong friendships. Do you still connect and converse with people that you connected with there at the school?
Oh yeah,
contact with them?
yes, absolutely. Okay. Well, I was also in Alpha Phi sorority while I was there, so I'm still connected with all my sorority sisters, and they're all so supportive of me on social media, and which is a great environment. Like they always like everything I post, and it's so nice. But yeah, I have a lot of like musician friends from there too. Like we really bonded in school. I think that because we were all pushed so hard in music school that it just really like bonded us together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still really close to a lot of people from Baldwin Wallace.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, that's all the Baldwin Wallace questions I had. I just wanted to get that out of the way.
No, it's good to talk about. I love talking about BW.
Yeah. So how did you end up from Cleveland / Toledo to LA?
Yeah, it was a tough decision, but I think that when I was in Ohio, I had to move back to Toledo after BW because I had to complete an internship for music therapy.
Okay.
And when I was completing it, I just kind of thought, like a lot of my friends have moved away from home or gone back to their hometowns that are out of state. So I just thought that I could use a fresh start too, like maybe to go venture out and look for like make some new friends. And in LA, it's my family hates it. It's across the country, so do I. But it was just kind of like a hub of entertainment, I thought. And I was choosing between Nashville, I think Florida, Nashville, New York, or LA. But LA, I visited LA while I was in college for acapella. I went to an acapella camp called Acapella Academy, and I just had so much fun, and I loved the vibe of LA that I thought, this would be a great place to move to and just kind of try it out and see how well I do. And I really ended up like loving it the minute I got here. So I just kind of have stayed here. And I'm on my fifth year. Year now.
Okay, yeah. Awesome. That is so awesome. Yeah, I love LA. I've been to all of the cities, LA, Nashville, New York, Atlanta, and I would say LA is by far the best to me as far as the vibe, the energy, the culture. Yeah. It just seems so diverse. And then palm trees. Oh my God, I love yeah. Malibu, the beach is right there. Everything is right there,
It is.
The traffic sucks though. I mean, it's
Oh,
very it's
it's
very
so bad.
reminiscent to my time in Chicago. However, it's like you got such pretty weather majority of the time, you know.
Yeah.
So
It's really
yeah.
nice, and I've recently gone up to Northern California a little bit just to kind of
Mhm.
explore,
Yeah.
and I was like, it's so beautiful, like it
Yeah.
looks like you're in a different country almost. So it's really fun. I like the state of California a lot, so I've
Yeah.
just stayed here. But Ohio has its beautiful moments too, but not December to April.
Right. It has nothing. I was gonna say, being a Midwesterner, come on now. No, has
Yeah,
nothing. No, Ohio, Illinois, Michigan, all of these cities in the Midwest has nothing on Cali
right.
at all.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah, you don't have to sugarcoat that.
Yeah, no, the snow gets pretty tiring after a while.
Yeah, and then the weather that goes from rain to snow to 75 flip-flops and shorts. That's
Yes.
what we're in right now. So no,
Yeah.
you're in a good spot.
Yeah.
So what was that move like for you when you relocated to LA? Did you, like, I like to ask people this simply because there's, folks that may watch this later or tuned in now. A lot of folks want to relocate, maybe their hometown isn't the best place to be for what it is that they want to do. So some of them are like, okay, should I find a job there first and then move? Or do I need to move and just find what I can, but at least I'm there? How did you do it? Like, how were you able to relocate back then? Did you have a job? Did you intern? Did you sleep out your car? What was that journey like for you?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. I pursued music therapy when I first moved out here. So before I made the decision to move, I applied for a job in music therapy out in Long Beach, actually, here.
Okay.
So I got the job, I accepted the offer. So I only had maybe like a month, which is actually nice that I got a month. It was instead of 2 weeks. So I had a month to decide if I wanted to move. So I did have a job in place, just because it's so expensive to live here that I didn't want to risk just moving. I know that people have done that though,
Yeah.
but my strategy was like to get a job that I know I can like get a salary off of and see how well I do. And also I lucked out because I had a few family members that were here going to school at UCLA.
Nice.
So
Yep.
we all got to room together. So I got a little bit of a cheaper room because we could, share rent in that way.
Yep.
So it was nice that I kind of like knew some people, and
Mhm.
I had gone to camp here like a year prior. So I
Okay.
knew I had some friends already too. So I think it
Okay.
helped that I knew some people. I had like housing and a housing arrangement.
Mhm.
And then I had a job. So it all kind of lined up for me to like just take the risk. But it was scary
Yeah.
to move away because I grew up in Ohio. I spent 24 years there, and then to change, it was a quick change. It was hard,
Yeah.
but but I made it work, and it was nice to be around family at first too.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. For sure. That is so awesome. Just to have that base and the fact that you knew people there already. I
Yeah.
think that is so important. A lot of people will relocate blindly, and it's like, no, test it out first. Go and meet people and network, try to build relationships first. And I always advise people to go to conferences, attend some networking events that are out there, especially in places like LA, New York, and Atlanta, even Nashville. There's always something going on. It's like, go check it out first. So that way, when you move, you're not completely alone,
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. It helped me like when I went to camp to kind of get a sense of it, because moving to a big city, especially if you're not used to it, it is overwhelming. It's
Yep.
very different from a suburb, no matter which city it is. Like it's
Yes.
just so fast paced.
Yep.
There's a lot of people and
Mhm.
it is I remember feeling overwhelmed. So it's nice to have some things lined up and have somewhat of a plan before you move. I mean, that's anywhere, but especially a big city, like you're gonna go there at first and be like, whoa. This is crazy.
Yeah. Like, oh my goodness. Yep. I get it. I
Yeah.
totally get it. So I want to know a little bit more about your journey before I go into my next series of questions. But I would like to know, so you get to LA, you're working in music therapy.
Mhm.
Then what? Like how did you become who you are now? Millions of followers, you're on Good Morning America and all these shows and just killing it at walking red carpets. Like, what happened? Like, what was that moment that kind of started moving you in that direction?
Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
So I had, ever since I moved here, I knew that I wanted to kind of do things in the entertainment industry because I was, I was in LA, I was going to use that to my advantage.
Yeah.
And after work, I would post like Instagram videos and YouTube videos, just of me beatboxing, or just posting myself online. And
Mhm.
actually, one person from TikTok, it was Musically at the time. This was 2017.
Mhm.
Somebody from Musically reached out to me and said, "Hey, like we're turning our app into TikTok and we're trying to get some more like kids over the age of 16 to join the app. Like we like your talent. We were wondering if you would try out the app." So I said, "Sure." Like, and TikTok wasn't a thing, but I was really interested. So I remember my logo, like when I made a video, the logo said Musically/TikTok on it. It was like so vintage now.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I posted a video and then I feel like overnight it had it was like around like 5 to 10,000 views. I don't remember how much it had, but I remember feeling like, oh, like I've never had that many views like
Wow.
that
Yeah.
overnight. So it prompted me to like keep making videos. So I think maybe daily or weekly, like I was making videos and I would go to work, drive home through the traffic and put hair and makeup on and make video after video. And then TikTok just kind of kept, becoming more popular. And then
Mhm.
my following grew. And
Yeah.
I even made videos on my lunch break in my car. So any opportunity I had in my free space, I was, making content.
Yes.
Eventually I went part-time with my job. It was a really hard decision because financially it's a hard decision, but I was making some money because I learned that like brands started reaching out to me. So like, "Hey, like we like your following, we like what you do on TikTok. Like we'll give you a product and this fee of money to promote something." And so once I figured out that I could make money doing it, I decided to like give a little bit more time to it. So that's when I went part-time. Um, and then what happened was COVID, the school shut down. So then they said, "I'm sorry, like it was a nonprofit and they're a wonderful organization, but they just didn't have any work for me." So
Mm.
I was let go and it was a very stressful time. But then I just kind of doubled down on content because that's what I was able to do then all day, every day was just make content. So
Mhm.
I just worked really hard at that. And luckily I was able to sustain a living off of it. Like I had like a lot of views on YouTube and YouTube monetization is great. So I was able to
Yes.
like, live off of that and then make some brand deals off of TikTok.
Mhm.
So it kind of I transformed into like being a full-time content creator just because it just so happened I was let go from my job. But it
Yeah.
was kind of a blessing in disguise at that time because I knew that at one point I was ready to go full-time content creation, but I was scared to make the jump. So I was forced to make the jump then at that point. Yeah, so that's kind of like how it shifted from one
Yeah.
job to the other.
I would say there's two things that stood out with everything you just shared that I feel like contributed to your success outside of the talent, right?
Thank
You
you.
are talented. Like, I'm just like, how does she
Thanks, I
do
appreciate
that? Like, oh my God.
that.
I don't even want to try. I don't want to try at all. So the first thing that stood out was you got in early. Like
Yeah,
when Musically to TikTok, I remember that. Like I remember Musically, but I didn't know that they ended up becoming TikTok later. Like
yeah,
I remember Musically, but I'm like, oh, that's where TikTok originated from. Like, wow. So you
yeah.
got in early. That is a plus, and I think that's something that a lot of people should take note right now because I feel like social media is going through this transition as well as the music industry. There's this major transition going on now with AI and all this crazy stuff that's happening and streams and everything. I feel like it's being disrupted. The industry is being disrupted currently. So it's like very important for artists now to stay on top of it and see what's popping up now, like new technology, new ways of doing things, and get in early because that's a big
Yeah.
advantage for a lot of people. So I feel like that definitely helped. And then the second thing was COVID. Like so many people, yes, it was bad for a lot of folks and a lot of people lost their lives. But on the flip side of that, it was like opportunity after another for so many people. It's
Yeah.
like we have this downtime. So now it's like, let's focus all of our energy on something. And a lot of people did that with podcasts. Like there's a lot of podcasts now that are huge brands and media companies just from COVID. And to think that that was just 3 years ago is still
I
insane to me,
know.
right? Like it was by so quick.
It's crazy. A lot of friends of
Yeah.
mine, yeah, they started on TikTok during the pandemic. And because especially the people in my generation, like the millennial generation, like we all had like skills and talents that we weren't able to pursue because, you know, when you grow up, you're taught, oh, you need a 9 to 5 job, or
Yep.
we all went to
Yep.
school for that.
Yep.
So I think then, you know, once that shift happened during COVID, a lot of my peers were like, well, I'm going to try out TikTok and I'm going to try out cooking or baking or
Mhm.
comedy, and it worked well. So
Mhm.
now I think, you know, it has changed their life because they're able to pursue something that's not a 9 to 5, and they're, you know, they're able to pursue their dreams and like their passions, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
So it's a tough time. You know, it was a really tough time. It was a very traumatic moment in
Right.
time,
Right.
but it was also like a positive shift in another way, like you said. So it's like
Mhm.
2020 was like it's the most interesting year I think I'll ever experience in my life.
Yeah, that's all of us.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
right.
think we're still trying to get over it now. You know, we're still trying to work our
Yeah,
way out of that.
right.
Even now. So yeah, I think that is so awesome. So let's go back to when you were working and doing content. You said
Okay.
you was doing content on your lunch break,
Yeah.
before work, after work. Like, did you have like did you have like a content schedule? Did you know what you were gonna shoot those days? Like, what did that look like? Because I'm sure there's quite a few people tuned in now or that's gonna watch later that may have jobs and trying to balance content, music, all of this other stuff in addition to work, family, and everything else. So what did that look like for you?
Right. I didn't have necessarily like a schedule, except for I knew that, I mean, my lunch break pretty much happened at the same time every day.
Yeah.
And for me, like, luckily, like, it worked well for me to film in my car. Like, people kind of liked that I filmed in my car because it
Mhm,
looked
mhm,
organic that way.
mhm.
That's like the main drawback I'd say of social media is like the more authentic it is and relatable it is, the more willing people are going to watch.
I
Um,
agree.
and yeah, and so I think when I filmed in my car, people I think liked that atmosphere. So it made it easy for me to film it in there. And beatboxing, luckily, is something that I can do anywhere.
Yeah.
Like if I only played guitar, like I can see that that would be a little bit of like a challenge, like in the middle
Mhm.
of the day. But yeah, like when I got home from work, I think that I made time for myself to like just relax for a second, like get some dinner, have some dessert, like watch an episode of TV. So like, and then make content. So I was up till like midnight, 1 a.m. a lot of nights because I did allow a break. If I didn't allow breaks in my day, I would really burn out.
Yeah.
Um, but because I had time for that, like that was kind of my schedule. It was like, okay, like just try to make content if you can, but like make sure you eat dinner.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
treat yourself to like dinner. So, but I did have like I run my social media and different kinds of series. Like I've done series of like beatboxing with different food, beatboxing like with cake pops from Starbucks, or
Mhm.
doing like comedy sketches. So instead of like a set like this is the time that I'm doing my content, it's more of like this is what I'd like to film this week are these types
Okay.
of videos. So I kind of fit it in where I can. Like my brain works more like that. Instead of like from 7 to 9, you're doing this. It's more like, okay, my goal by the end of this week is to make 3 videos that have like this in them. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Take the creative the creative piece of it and work from that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I because
Yeah.
it's too much pressure on myself to like
Mhm.
put it to a specific time, even though a lot of people like their brains work that way. Mine, I get too
Same
stressed.
here. Yep.
Yeah, it's too stressful. So I just say like, okay, like it's Monday. By Friday, we have all this time. By Friday, just do 3 videos that have beatboxing, this or that and that. So it made it more like, you know, to me, the goal is more attainable to do it that way.
Yep, I agree. Did you batch your content? Did you like shoot all those videos by the end of the week and then like publish them the next week? Or how
Oh,
was that flow like? What was that like?
I usually will like once I record it and film it and edit it.
Mhm.
I do have certain times that I like to post on my social media. So I try to fit it in there. But like if I like today, I filmed something today and edited it, and I'm probably gonna post it tonight.
Mhm.
But if it's 9 o'clock, if I actually have a little bit more to do and it's 9 o'clock, then I'm like, it's too late for me to post. I'll do it tomorrow.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I don't usually bank. A lot of my friends do that,
Mhm.
make banks of content. but I get too eager. Like if I make something, I'm like, I'm ready.
Yeah,
Just,
exactly. Let's do it now. Let's knock it out. Yep.
yeah, that's how I like to do it. But it just depends on your style. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get that. So when you first started and you were working and doing all of the content while working and you had these themes, was it strictly beatboxing or did you throw in, like, did you talk or what was that content like? And I'm sure, if we scroll back, we'll see it. You still have it up, right? You
Oh
still,
yeah, I have a lot.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what was that like compared to now?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that when I watch my old videos, it's funny. I do think some of them are pretty cringy. When
Yeah.
I look back, but
Mhm.
I've always at least I've always had beatboxing in the mix, and I still do that today. Um, but I think earlier it was a little bit more uh like I tried to make a huge production of it.
Okay.
Like I could see that like everything had to be perfect with like hair and makeup, and it needed to be like music video type. And or it needed, I don't know exactly, like it was just a little bit more like I thought it needed to be perfect. But
Mm.
nowadays it's like, well, it doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be more authentic and like relatable. So I think that earlier I wasn't spending enough time like scrolling on the app.
Mm.
But now I scroll on the app and I see what everybody else is like laughing at or interested in. So now I try to make my content like relatable to like people that are in Gen Z or people that are older than me, or people in my age group. So it just kind of, I'm trying to be more relatable to like what everyone else is watching and being a part of the community. Because in early days of TikTok, it was more so like just post your talent and see what happens. Now
Yeah.
it's like TikTok's a community, like we all are kind of like in on it together. Like, so
Right.
it's a little bit different of a, I can tell that the vibe of my videos have changed a lot.
Mm. For sure, for sure. That totally makes sense. And just to think about how a lot of artists start out on social media, they think they need to have the fancy lighting, the gear, and the crazy editing that has to be so overproduced. And it's like, no, the more organic and the natural it is, the more
Yes,
relatable it is. And yeah,
100%.
yep, I've done quite a few different webinars and I say that like all you need is your phone.
Yeah.
That's all you need, your phone, just to get started, and you'll be amazed at by like how viral that content can become, just
Yeah.
from a phone and not fancy cameras and lights. So I think that's very interesting that you mentioned that how you were in the beginning versus now.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with you. And there's things that I do, like I do have like a nice camera and a nice microphone, but I
Mhm.
didn't initially have that stuff. And
Yeah.
I go back and forth between like filming on my phone or filming
Yeah.
with my camera. But
Mhm.
either way, like there's always like something authentic about it. Like I sing live in my videos.
Mhm.
As opposed to like everything's pre-recorded.
Mhm.
Like I used to like make something and then like pre-recorded and then like lip sync to it but now
Mhm.
I'm like I always have the microphone in my shot,
Yeah.
because I want it to look like I'm actually singing right now, and like I do, like I'm singing right now and I want that to come across so it doesn't look super advertising.
Yeah.
um yeah, and I know like music on social media, like it is kind of a difficult thing sometimes
Uh-huh.
to go about because it's not as relatable as like comedy, like when you watch a sketch comedy.
Right.
um yeah, but there's been a lot of creators on TikTok that have really done a great job
Mhm.
marketing their music.
Yeah. Yep. I totally agree. So do you have music? Do you release music or you just beatbox? That's
I've released a couple of songs. I don't
okay.
normally release music. I'm going to try and do that a little bit more because
Okay.
I've learned more about production. Like beforehand, my production skill that's been different. My production skills 5 years ago to now are way different. Um,
Gotcha.
yeah, so I think that I'm gonna do that. But yeah, but with beatboxing, it's also been kind of challenging because a lot of people see it as a gimmick rather than an art form. And it 100% is an art just like anything else. But people see it as like, oh, that's kind of like a odd talent. Like, so that's why I got into a routine of like beatboxing with food or beatboxing like in a silly way. So
Mhm.
now I'm trying to be like, no, I'm gonna like normalize it in, pop culture, and like you can add beatboxing to like a hip hop groove. I mean, it originates in the hip hop community.
Yeah.
So I'm, trying to like put it out there more as less of a like less gimmicky and more like, no, you can make cool music with it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, what would you say? Well, what was your very first like brand deal that kind of opened your eyes to the possibilities?
Ooh, gosh, first
Can you
one.
remember?
Yeah, I'll say that I did a campaign with Glad trash bags, and it was my favorite campaign ever. They were wonderful to work with, but I like somebody wrote an instrumental track and they asked me to like create some lyrics on top of it. So that was the first time that I did some jingle songwriting with them.
Okay.
And so then to make like a jingle and put it on social media, that did have a little music video to it, but it was really fun. And like, that's the part of brand marketing that I fell in love with, was putting the music to it. Cause it's like commercial jingle writing, but
Mhm.
for social media instead. So then after that, I did work with a company called Tubi. They're a streaming service, wonderful people. And I really loved working with them too. And they asked me to remake an 80s song and make it like an upbeat kind of pop song. So I
Mhm.
did they were asked me to write it so that fashion creators could use it for TikTok. They were trying to promote Tubi, and they were asking the fashion creators to use my song to make a video with to promote the app, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah.
Um, so I really fell in love like with brand marketing through music, because I didn't know that that was an avenue. I always thought like you had to do that for television until I
Yeah.
started doing it for social media. And so it's a nice gig then, because you're able to do your own contract work. So I'm an independent contractor. So a brand likes me and they're like, hey, like we like your beatboxing, like what can you make something cool with this, like.
Mm.
So now I'm like, oh, I would love to reach out to Oreos or Doritos and be like, let me make a jingle for you and like put it on TikTok or put
Yeah.
it, because it's actually like, compared to commercials, like TikTok is a great way for brands to advertise. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody's on social media.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's what made me like really like, I saw it as like a job. When I saw that I could do that, like mix my degree with music
Mhm.
and social media, like I was like, oh, this is my job now.
Yep. That's the job. Yep. That
Yeah.
is so cool. So you produce and beatbox, but you were able to get those opportunities through beatboxing online. They found you and just reached
Yeah.
out to you. Wow.
Yeah. So that's why it's like it's important to post yourself, because you never know like
Yeah.
who's going to come across your channel. And it's not only like big creators either, it's like smaller creators are getting opportunities too. So if
Mhm.
you like put in the hard work behind your video, and you're posting regularly and you're consistent on social media, then it's really likely that you'll get recognized.
Yeah.
I always tell people too that it's not, nobody has overnight success, like not even me. Like even my first video, like it was successful, but I have to be consistent to grow to where I'm at. Like it's really rare that somebody like gets 2 million followers overnight and now they're getting record deals. Like it's not like that. It's like you post a video, it could go viral, but it doesn't stop there. It's like you need to keep posting, even after that viral video you get. It could get, I had a video miraculously, I don't even know how this happened, but it has like 55 million views on it. No idea. But like, so I posted that. And so now I'm like, well, it doesn't stop there though. Like I still have to create content because the people that
Yeah.
follow me from that want to see more. So then the more you post, like the more that you get recognized. So I get emails every day from companies that are like, oh, we saw this video and now we want to do something similar.
Mhm.
Um, so if our budgets line up, and if the creative work lines up between the company and the client, it's a really good, setup. So for anybody in music that's like pursuing social media, like there's other opportunities to get somewhere other than like having a record deal. Like that shouldn't only be your goal. Like there's a lot of different avenues that social media is allowing nowadays.
Yep, for sure, for sure. Do you work with an agency at all or management, or is it just all you?
It's all me, but I am working with a voiceover agency. Yeah, they've gotten some. We're just kind of like testing out the waters right now.
Mhm.
But they've been sending me some like voiceover auditions because I also do. I did a series of that on my TikTok, like doing voice impressions of cartoon characters.
Yep, yep. I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, anyway, I
Yeah.
never expected it to do well, but luckily it did well. So then I decided to like kind of pursue voice acting now too. So yeah, you never know. All those years of like beatboxing and singing in choir and making random noises turned into you never know where anything leads you.
Right, right. Doing the stuff that your parents would tell you to stop doing. You sound crazy. Don't do that. It's like, look at me now.
Exactly. Yes.
Look at me now, mom.
Right. And they're like, holy crap, I can't believe it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So what is your favorite social media platform?
Ooh.
Like
Oh,
what's your number one with a close second?
okay, to be honest, uh it's a hard answer because I mean, I've really achieved a lot from TikTok.
Mhm,
I wouldn't be where I'm at if it weren't for TikTok.
mhm.
I do have a love-hate relationship with them though. Like to be honest, like I don't have a partner manager at TikTok. So like I don't get invited to anything through them. Like they have such like so many TikTokers, but I don't know that they always I know that they try their best, but I think that's a lot of things get lost in communication, or creators like me and other friends of mine like get lost in communication.
Mhm.
But I really like owe a lot of my success to them. And but YouTube, I love YouTube.
Yeah.
um I mean, yeah, the partner managers that work at YouTube are so awesome. They
Mhm.
recognize creators big and small. There's opportunities for creators big and small,
Yep.
like to
Yep.
go to the same events. So
Mhm.
YouTube, I say, like does the best job at rewarding creators and like showcasing us and showing us love and support over
Mhm.
TikTok. But both of them, I really enjoy creating on both, and I love the community on TikTok. I love the community on YouTube. So like they're kind of equal for different reasons, but
Yep. I get
maybe
what you're saying.
maybe YouTube just a little bit more than TikTok.
Yep, I could totally see that. So when you create content, do you create content for one platform in mind and then kind of like repurpose it, or do you do something different?
I do both. I
Okay.
have different audiences across all social media. So my TikTok is it kind of varies in age. I will say that maybe I have more children. YouTube, I definitely have more like of a kid audience. But
Yep.
Instagram is all millennial audience, I think.
Mhm.
So like sometimes I'll create something like lately I've been doing like hip hop beatboxing, like song remixes
Mhm.
just for Instagram. Like I made a brandy cover today that I'm gonna post on
Okay.
Instagram. So yeah, some things, and it's interesting, some things do better on one platform over the
Right.
other. I
Yep.
think just because of the age that it's getting to. So I do repurpose if a video I like that I think can like, is applicable to all ages, then I'll post it everywhere. If I think that it's a little bit more specific to a certain age group, then I'll post it to that specific platform.
Got you. So going back, you do the content first and then you pick which platform would be best for it.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes I will have an idea like this brandy cover I
Yeah.
did. I was like, I know that this is going to go on Instagram. I'm not sure if I'm going to post it to YouTube or TikTok yet, but
Okay.
I know it's going to go on Instagram. But sometimes I will make a video and I'll watch it and I'll be like, oh, okay, I actually think that this could go on all platforms. So I kind of have to see what the final product looks like before I decide where it goes. Yeah, because honestly, it's weird to me that I'll post something on Instagram that I think will do poorly, but
Mhm.
then it actually does the best out of all of my platforms.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
So is there a method, would you say, or not really? Because I feel like, and where I'm going with this is that a lot of artists, musicians, producers, or whomever, any music creators in general, they overthink, and I'm gonna say we overthink our content. So do you have a method or not really? You just create based off of what feels good that week and you have your theme and then you just place it.
Well, that's a good question. I do think that there is a method to well, first of all, I do want to post things that are authentic to me. A
Yeah.
lot of people I've seen on TikTok focus more on quantity over quality. I'm the opposite. I'm more focused on quality over quantity. And
Mhm.
I would preach that all day long.
Yep.
It will go further for you to just kind of like even if you don't know what your niche is yet, it's
Mhm.
important to just be you, because really people are following you for
Mhm.
you.
Yep.
Like you will get follows over your talent, but it's not your talent. Like if your dream is to go out and perform in public and be like a rock star, like think about all the rock stars and pop stars that you like you follow them because you like who they are. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, so it's like that's I mean, kind of part of the method is like really being authentic to what you like to do.
Yep.
Like yeah, like I know that I'm not a girl. Like I have hair, I have my hair done and makeup on right now, but a lot of times I make videos and I don't. And I wake up in my pajama shirt and I make something. And but it's kind of clear across my page. Like people will say, "Oh yeah, you're kind of like nerdy, but maybe cool because you beatbox." You know, like I have a certain like vibe to me, or I'm somebody that laughs at myself, or I'm somebody that will post my bloopers because I don't care if people I want people to laugh at me with me.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's part of my method is like, okay, what how am I going to reach out to this audience that in the sense where I'm relatable and it's entertaining
Yep.
and it doesn't seem so self-absorbed. Like I'm
Mhm.
not out here like constantly trying to sell people on me. I'm just being myself and seeing how if people like it.
Yep.
Um but the other method I think is I always tell people to just scroll. Like every day you should scroll on the apps, like no matter which one it is, to just see like what people are posting or like what the trending songs are or what people are laughing at, because that's research for you to know what the community is like on that app. So
Yep.
that's a part of the method is like, okay, what are people interested in right now?
Mhm.
Um, so let's see. I'm trying to think about what else like I do. It's part of my, but it really now that I've done this for 5 years, like I think that like I do just post like kind of what I want, but I know that people follow me for a certain reason. So I'll always post something that has like beatboxing or voice impressions in it. I
Mhm.
don't typically like deviate from that because like this is my brand, like this is what people follow me for and know me for.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of people stick to a posting schedule. Like I said earlier, like I don't really have a schedule other than like I know how many videos I want to post in a week,
Mhm.
rather than the time frames.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I love it. And you are successful at it. I love
Thank
that
you.
because I feel like I operate the same way. And I've been struggling with that where if I work with a brand or company or whatever, doing their social media or content or whatnot, everything has to be so structured. And it's
Mhm.
like, as a creative, it's hard to be structured because creators aren't really structured. That's we create when we are feeling it, when we're in the mood for it, when we're feeling
Yeah.
inspired. You can't put a time on inspiration. You can't put a time on when you're feeling when you get a calling to create something, that can happen in the middle of the night, early in the morning, and what you're gonna do, post it at
Yeah.
night, like
Right. So
yeah,
I always say like for that because I will like I'm the person that will be in the shower for an hour because
yeah,
an idea came to mind.
yep,
So like my method too with that, like if I do have a good idea, I'll take the time to like film it or record it. So at least I have it started. Because you know, like idea can come and then it can go if you
yep,
can forget about it. So that helps to stay consistent too, is like, oh, I have an idea, like I'm gonna drop what I'm doing and like try to film it. Or I will say like put a reminder on my phone, like, hey, later tonight, sometime, like no matter what time it is, but sometime later tonight, like film that or
yeah,
record that. Because you're right, like creativity, it doesn't come at the same time every day. Like it's so random and different.
yeah.
Um, and even in that respect too, like with brands, I've turned some brands down before that have like no variations in the creativity. Like they have an idea for exactly what they want, and you're not allowed to deviate from it.
Yeah.
And I've had to turn brands down to be like, I'm sorry, but like I'm not, this is what I post on
You're
my
not
page.
an order taker.
Yeah, so exactly. So if I love it when brands come to me and are like, hey, like we love your beatboxing, like how do you think you can put your beatboxing to like
Yeah.
burritos? And then I'll sit there and I'll be like, I'll come up with a list of like concepts for them and be like, oh, I can do this, I can beatbox and eat a Dorito at the same time, or I can make a jingle and the drum beat is out of a Dorito. Like all these random, like the more random I think it is, like the more creative it looks to them. And
Yep.
they'll be like, well, you know your audience best. Like,
Right.
I love it when brands are like that. And so it's important to like, it's important to hone into your own creativity. It's not like, it shouldn't be too, I mean, brands will always have some sort of like creative concept of what they're looking for.
Mhm.
But if you ever expect it to like completely deviate from what you create,
Yeah.
uh, to me, it's a little like fishy.
Yeah, that is so awesome. I'm like happy for you. Like that is so exciting to know
Thank
that you have such autonomy when it comes to your content. I think that is so cool. So
you.
before we get to these questions, we have a question here from Julian. I have another one.
Oh,
You have how many followers you have on TikTok? Like 12 million?
yes.
You laugh. Yeah, yeah, just 12 million. It's
Miraculously.
nothing.
Thank you.
12 million. Like, oh my God. So, how did you feel when you got your first million?
It was the most surreal experience. Because I grew up in the generation of YouTube, and
Mm-hmm.
that was always my dream. And I did actually, I did achieve that dream. I got to 1 million on YouTube, which was like a really good feeling.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, and TikTok is where I reached the first million. And I didn't know, it was like a feeling of, I never knew that that would actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it does give you some validation that, oh, like I have worked hard at this and my whole life, ever since I was a kid, like I've spent the time and the energy and the creative thoughts into all of this. And so it's nice to see it come to
Yeah.
fruition and to be like, like this is what people mean when dreams are achieved. Even if it's not the same dream as when you were a kid, like it's like a dream that you
Yeah.
never thought was real, but now it's like, oh, okay, now I got to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. It happened. Yep. It fell right into place for you. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. All right. So again, if you guys have any questions, we got about 15 minutes left. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. We have one here from Julian. I actually gained a pretty good following on TikTok at 150,000 followers, but it's so hard for me to get them to do a call to action off the app, like streaming my music or check out my other platforms. How are you able to bridge your fans to other platforms?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, congratulations on 150K. That's a super
Big.
awesome amount of followers. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Um, this is good. That's a great question. Because like I don't post music really either. But I would say that just consistency across all of your apps is something that's going to help. An artist that I'll bring up to you to look for, his name is Jake. You might have heard of him. It's JVKE. He sings the Golden Hour song, but he's built his whole fan base off of social media. And I think that like, the cleverness behind your videos is what's going to sell. Yes, exactly. The cleverness behind your videos is what's going to sell it. Like his video, one example that comes to mind is he says that kid, the shy kid that comes to the recording studio that sounds nothing like you thought he was going to sound. So it's
Mhm.
intriguing. It's like, oh, what is this kid gonna sound like then? So then the shy kid pulls up to the studio and the producer's like, yeah, whatever, kid, just sing what you want. But then he ends up singing like super dope and he's really good. So the whole video is engaging. And I think that's why people are interested in his music, because his videos are so engaging. And then they're like, oh, like, what is this song? I like that model because it's not so like sell you on my music. It's not so, hey guys, I just dropped this today, go download it. Because to be honest, like on a fast-paced platform, that takes more time and effort.
Mhm.
As opposed to like when you organically listen to a song in the video, you're kind of like, oh, I like this video, but also like, what the heck kind of song was that? That was dope.
Right.
So I personally like that approach where it's like more in the background.
Yep.
Um, because he's gotten a lot of viral videos from that. But he does post videos of like Golden Hour is out now, but then he'll
Mhm.
sing it live. So I
Mhm.
think his videos are so interactive, and not every single one is trying to sell you on it.
Yeah.
I think he organically makes you listen to it and say, oh, what's this song? Now I want to go check it out.
Yeah, yep. I couldn't agree more. Just from a marketing perspective, because that's my background, obviously marketing, and textbook. And the higher up you go in the corporate ladder, they'll say, "Oh, put a call to action on everything." And I'm like, no, people nowadays in 2023 do not want to be sold to. You
Yeah.
know, they want to organically look for that information. You know, they don't want to you know, they don't want the cheesy salesman. So I love that you brought up that example to where his content is just so good. People want to know more about him. Like, who is this guy? What is this song? What is this?
Yeah.
Like, I want to follow him everywhere. And I kind of do the same thing as a consumer. If I hear a song on TV or see something online, I start doing my research. I pull out my Shazam. What is this? Then I start clicking around. Like, let me see who the artist is, where he come from and everything. But I wasn't sold. It wasn't like I'm watching the show and they say, hey, this artist is so-and-so, go stream his music. It happened organically. Yeah, it happened organically.
And you'd be surprised at your followers who are willing to share that information too. Like once they find a good song, they're like, whoa, I found this on TikTok. Like you gotta hear it. And even Charlie Puth, like I know he's already famous, he's Charlie Puth, but his videos are so engaging if you've ever seen them on TikTok. Like he'll be like, oh my God, guys, wait, I just thought of this. And then he like live action. It's like, what if there's a song with a drum beat like and then he makes it live right there. And he's like, and then there's a trumpet section that's like he step by step makes it. So then people are invested because he's so excited. So like, you know, you yourself as an artist, like I said, like you're not selling your music, you're selling you. You want people to buy your music because they like you. So be charming in your videos, like be yourself in your videos and let people, like you were talking about, like let people come to your music organically because the content was so good.
Right, exactly. Be cool, but not too cool to where you're afraid to be yourself.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Because I know tons of folks that are too cool, as they say, too cool for school. They're just too cool, and I'm gonna just sit here. That's corny. I ain't gonna do that. But not realizing the corny, goofy, silly stuff that your everyday people that you're surrounding yourself with that know you in like real life. That's the content that people want to see. That's the content that's gonna gravitate to them. You know, so.
Yeah. And it's kind of even with audience participation too. Like I've seen DJs on there that was like, what if this song was mashed up with this song? And then they play it for you. And they're kind of like, oh, and they're jamming out to the own song they created. So then people are like, wait a minute now, wait, that's good. That's good.
Yep. I love those. Like there's a couple people I follow from some of their mixes. There's the DJs and there's also the DJs that share sampled music, like, oh, this is where that sample came from.
Yes.
Yep. I love that because it just shows that everything is cyclical. You know, something may sound familiar and it's like, yeah, because it is. It's something our parents or grandparents have played before, you know? So yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah. So
what's next for you? What's next for you?
Well, I'm always trying to figure that one out. But I said, like, I think my career goal, I mean, it's a big goal, but it's a really big goal, but I'm going to try for it. I love animation and songwriting. I've written music I'm writing a musical that I really want to, it's called Princess and the Beat, and I really want to pitch it to Disney. So I've written all this music for it, and I'm trying to get some writers for it to write the story with me. So that's kind of like what I'm hoping to do in the next 5 years. That's my goal, is to like do that. So because I have some connections with Disney. Like I'm going to a Disney Plus event tonight later. So I'm hoping that I know the right people to be like, here's my music. Like let's make a movie. So, like Lin-Manuel is my idol. So that's my next step.
Yeah, that is so awesome.
Thank you. Wow. It's about a beatboxing princess. So, That's what it's about.
That's right up your alley. That's all you.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a person. I always say to people like shoot for the moon. I mean, this is a saying, it's not my own saying, but shoot for the moon. And if you don't land there, at least you'll land amongst the stars.
Exactly, exactly. And that's what you're definitely doing, that all the way from Toledo. So
Thank
that is so awesome. All
you.
right. So before we wrap up, do you mind? I know you get this all the time. I know you do. Just in case anyone has not tuned in to your TikTok or your YouTube, even though they were given the links, do you mind just giving us a short, just a little bit, a little sample of something?
Oh, of a beatboxing. Yes.
Yes.
Hold on here.
Just something brief.
I'm gonna move. Let me see if I can, because the sound won't work unless I'm connected to sorry,
Oh, see,
unless I'm connected.
You trying to get fancy. You want to plug in your mics and all that. You didn't have to do all that now.
That's fine. Let's see if I can make it work.
Okay.
Because you won't be able to hear the mic for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. Oh, did it work? Hold on. I'm gonna try to see. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, perfect. I can't believe it worked that simply. Awesome. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. So let me see if you can hear it through here.
Okay. Nope.
No?
Nope. I see what you mean, but yeah, nope, can't hear you.
I don't know why Zoom does that.
Oh, I see exactly what you mean.
Yeah. You can hear me talking though?
Yeah. I hear you
not,
talking.
Yeah. Doesn't work.
It's very low. It's lower than your voice. If you can't, that's fine. You guys go on TikTok. She's good. Like, she's legit.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You guys haven't seen it. We got actually, we got two other questions that snuck in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Julia says, wait. You mentioned taking breaks to prevent burnout. How do you do that without people forgetting about you or losing momentum?
Oh, I see. Well, burnout, I mean, I get burnout a lot because here's the thing, like when you're creating, your voice can get tired really quickly, especially if you're a musician, vocalist, and I use my voice every day. Yeah. So, you have to just allow yourself to take a break. So this is a time where actually, if you do spend like a whole week, like making a log of content or like blocks of content so that you can post it over the next week, that will help you. You'll get burnout that week of making content, but so if you need you have to go on vocal rest or else you're going to make no content. So yeah, make sure that like post or try to create 2 videos a day for a week, and then have a bank. That's the word I was looking for. Have a bank of videos, and then the next week post them. So then you don't have to worry about it, and you can go on vocal rest. And you're still like present on social media. I don't think that you ever need to announce that you're taking a leave off of social media. I think that it's pretty intuitive that people just need a break. Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't like go off for a whole month or like a couple weeks. Like I have done that before, gone off a couple weeks, and it does kind of hurt to like people will be like, oh, like where have you been? But so my best advice is to like, yeah, make a bank of content, post it the next week so you don't have to worry about it.
Yep, totally agree with that. And then we have Joseph. Last question. Joseph, I'm a music producer from Ghana. How do I start out creating content? I'm a bit insecure about posting myself, and I don't have a camera or a good phone to take good videos. Please help me.
Okay. Well, you should just to start posting like is really gonna like be enough to you got to start somewhere. Yeah. We all do. There's no like really rhyme or reason of what to do other than like be yourself. If I can provide any advice, like try to find especially with music, I've noticed like try to find like a nice room where the sound is picked up nicely. So you don't want to record your first videos in like a basketball court, like at a game or something where the background is loud. like, like I'm in, my bedroom. So it's like make a nice video in your bedroom, or somewhere where there's not a lot of sound.
Yeah.
And with the video, it's okay that you don't have, even if you don't have the best phone, like, if you got a camera, like make a video.
Yeah.
You can even use natural light. I a lot of times use natural sunlight from a window than I do like a ring light.
Yep.
Natural light is the best. It cannot be beat with any kind of light system. So yeah, just use natural lighting, like a good, quiet room and your camera. And
Yeah.
like I know everyone is kind of nervous to post, but if I could say anything, like my generation and or just I shouldn't even say that, like the community on TikTok and all these social media platforms, like people know now that it's not I have to be perfect kind of
Right.
place. It used to
Right.
be like the early days of Instagram, it was like everything had to be perfect.
Yep.
On TikTok, it's nobody, everyone is so supportive now. People like the silliness, people like it's not perfect. And the more authentic something is, the better it will do.
Yep. Yep. I agree 100%. Cool. Cool. Well, again, Paige, thank you so much. This was so
Yeah.
awesome to speak with you, to meet you virtually. I wish you nothing but even more success than you already have because
Thank
like, yeah, I can tell you're a good spirit, a good person, and just super talented on top of that. So I greatly appreciate your time. If people want to reach out to you just to say, hey, what's the best place for them to do that?
Yeah. You can find me on everywhere. All of my social media is at Paige Zilba, just my name. If you forget my name, if you type in Beatbox Girl, you'll probably see me.
Okay.
I think I'm not the only one, but I'm one of the only blonde beatboxers. So, if you type in Beatbox Girl, I think I should pop up.
Go up.
But yeah, you can DM me on Instagram. Here, I'll type in the chat my email for anyone that has any like additional questions. Just it always helps me out to tell me like where we might have like been in a meeting together. So just say I'm so and so from like the home conversation, and I'll know like what that means. Even too like if we do something with Baldwin Wallace again, I always tell the Baldwin Wallace kids like just say like, hey, I'm so and so for BW, and I'm like, got it.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
Let her know.
Yeah. So it's Paige Zilba Productions at Gmail. That's where you can reach me. But yeah, thank you so much, really, for all the kind words. You are such also a wonderful, kind person, I can tell.
Thank
Um,
you so much.
yeah, and I'm sure all of you are such talented musicians, and just rock out to yourself, rock out to your own heartbeat, rock out to your own soundtrack. Just yeah, any other things I can answer, just yeah, send me an email.
We'll do, we'll do. And if there's anything I can do to help you on your journey, feel free to reach out and let me know.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for
No
having me
problem.
on tonight. It was so wonderful to talk to all of you.
Same here, same here. Well, with that, you guys, that's a wrap. You guys enjoy the rest of your